First is obviously the internal buy-in. So we knew a couple things going into this season, and then obviously things change as the season goes on. So we knew that we had a very experienced midfield, just needed to be aware of their performing at the top of their game. There will come a time that might not be the case, and we needed to be ready for it. You want to be proactive in those instances and not reactive. So we knew that. We had talked about what is that next piece of the midfield. So we'd done that. And then once we found ourselves going into the summer break without two of our main, 10s. Dabinia had been injured, unfortunately. We knew she was going to come back, but we didn't know when. And then obviously there's a build-up process to that. You're not coming back from being off for 6 to 8 weeks and playing 90s immediately. And then, Vanessa's on maternity leave and expecting her first child. So knowing that we had a real need then, like an immediate need was key. So it really started with internally saying, hey, who are players that would fit in our system? And then you'd say, okay, who's available? And pretty much, as you guys know, everyone's available until you make the phone call and they're not available. So,
that's right. I agree with that.
So that's the biggest thing is like we made a phone call. It was called Utah and said, is this a player that you're interested in moving? Not surprisingly, it took a couple calls to see if that did, because when you have a player of that caliber that is so important to your club, you have to be really certain as far as what your next step is if you let them go. Once we knew that we had at least a two-way conversation going on, then that's when, Vlaco and I really started talking to Chris and Angie and just saying, like, this is what we think it's going to take. Mm-hmm. If these numbers are that we are not comfortable with, then totally get it. We just need to move on to our next aspect.